Okay. So, hey guys, it's been a long time since I've done a live, nearly over a year. And I said I was going to get on at 7, and it's now 7:40. So I'm really late. So I'm going to see if anyone joins. I'll wait a couple of minutes and then, yeah. YouTube now live on your channel. So let's see. Okay, 2 people have joined. Hi. Sorry I'm late. I did say 7 o'clock and I didn't do 7, so I'm sorry. I had dinner later and everything ran a bit later, but yeah, glad to have you here. I thought I would just do a bit of a catch up because hi Nkiru, hello. That's a new name, never seen before. So yeah, I thought I would do a catch up because of everything that's going on right now in this country. So if you're here in the UK, then you'll know that things are a bit crazy right now with this country, especially financially. And we had the mini budget discussion today, and I'm just not feeling that great about it. So I thought maybe there's others who feel similar. And if there are other people who feel similar, I wanted to have a space that we could talk about it and things like that. Yesterday, actually, I went into panic mode when I realised the Bank of England had rose their interest rate. So I knew they were going to do it. But at the same time, when I registered the fact that I heard someone say it on the news that it had gone from like 0.1% to 2.25% in the space of a year or less, it made me panic. And a few people were saying that, expect it to be 5% by this time next year. And for those of us who have mortgages, it's worrying. So yeah, I mean, I'm on a fixed rate right now, but that will end right at the beginning of 2024. And the fact that interest rates, if the base rate goes to 4 or 5%, that means mortgage rates will be 6 to 7%, which would really have a huge impact on finances. So I kind of went on I used a million calculators yesterday to have a look and a feel of what that would be like. And I went into panic mode. I said to my husband, maybe we need to remortgage early and pay the early repayment charge and reevaluate what we're doing, because these interest rates are becoming a bit scary, and especially if people's predictions are right for next year. So I actually messaged my mortgage advisor. I was like, hey, what do you think we should do? And he gave really sound advice. I highly recommend him. If anyone's looking for a mortgage advisor, a mortgage broker, really recommend mine, because not only has he done our initial 95% mortgage, which I talk about on this channel, he also done our remortgage, and he's just on it. So, you know what I mean? The fact that I could just message my broker and be like, hey, what do you like? Should we crunch the numbers? And basically, he said, because how high our early repayment charge would be right now, and we're talking like, oh, pretty much 4 grand it would be to if we exited out of our mortgage right now. He said it's not worth it. We're now technically in recession, and hopefully interest rates will slow down. So he said, just hold off, try not to be swayed by the news and like the hype and all of that, and just hold off, keep on your current mortgage on your fixed rate. We currently have like a 2% interest rate, so it's very low. And he said, just hold off, basically. So I thought to myself, that's why this morning I wrote on my community post, I was like, I'm gonna do a live tonight, because if I'm going into panic mode, there could be others who are also going into panic mode. So I was like, okay, maybe I need to relay this information. But in Kira, you said I'm on 2% till October 2025. You are one lucky person. um, that's so good. Oh, part of me, and this is not really going for the advice that my mortgage broker gave. He was like, I think you should do like three years minimum. Um, and I was like, no, just stick with two like we did originally. And now I'm like, I should have listened to him. I should have done 3 years. Because yeah, the interest rate would have been around like 2.4%. Currently, we've got 2.07%, um, which is good in comparison to what it is now. But yeah, probably should have gone for the 3 years. But you live and you learn. So for the 8 of you guys who are watching, please say hi. Tell me who you are, especially if you're new and I don't know you, and you've never been on a live. It'd be nice to get to know you. So you said in Kiri it will cost you £8,000 to remortgage early. Yeah. So yours is yours is a bit higher than mine. Mine was 3,800 to be exact. In fact, I went on in my panic yesterday. I went on the nationwide website and I was like, early repayment calculator. And you can put in your mortgage number and all of that, and it tells you exactly how much your early repayment charge would be from that day. Um, so that's what I did, and I was like, "Oh, 3,800, that's quite high." And I was like, "Yeah, let me speak to my mortgage broker." So Zara, you said, "Hey, newbie here. Hey, Zara, good to meet you. So glad that you're here. I hope you are enjoying the channel, enjoying the videos, and thanks for joining the live. Really appreciate it. And again, sorry that I'm late for those of you that just joined." Sean, you said, hi, I always like to lock in for long fixed terms to avoid the hassle of remortgaging. You know what? No, I totally get that. I totally get that. But I had a game plan. That's not going to happen now, pretty much. I had a game plan. I think because we got so lucky first time round, we had a 2 year, we got a 95% mortgage, was on that for 2 years, remortgaged, and was able to take out a, an on a right amount of equity in order to build a pretty big extension on our house, which has increased the value of our home, but also increased the quality of our life. I was like, let's do this again in 2 years, but not to extend, but to get a buy to let. So this was the plan. This is why I was like, just let's do 2 years again, take out more equity in 2 years, and then buy a second property. But now I'm feeling like that's not going to happen. So, you know, it, I'm not, I totally get now why some people prefer to go for long fixed terms. I'm still holding on to a bit of hope. Maybe I'm a bit of a hopeless romantic, but I'm still holding on just a little bit, just in the hopes that things will cool down and in 2 years' time we are able to buy a second property, but we'll see. Um, Zara, you said, yes, your content is so helpful. Thank you. I'm so glad that you find it helpful. That's so great. You said, I'm wondering whether this is a bad time to make a career change, which would result in a pay cut for now, but much better job prospects in the future. If not for economic climate, I wouldn't think twice. Ooh, that is a dilemma to be in. I think like obviously this is just all my opinion and just everything I say is my opinion. Please remember that. Never advice. Um, but yeah, I think like for me, that would hugely depend on my current circumstance. So it would depend on if I have a family to support, or like I have a big mortgage that I have to put money towards, or whatever else. If I'm still living at home, or I'm living with a partner or a friend, but our rent is really cheap, or I don't have any dependents, I would 100% make that career move, because even though it's a pay cut for now, there's better job prospects and probably just a better quality of work life. So for me, that is probably what I would do if I was in those circumstances. But if I had a family and a huge mortgage and loads of debt maybe that I need to get rid of and things like that, then the money would probably come first. So I think it's really circumstantial, depending on whether whether you should do that or not. But I think I've heard people say this before, like they don't know. They're like, oh, there's a career that really interests me, but it means a pay cut. And sometimes, and I know people who've done it and don't regret it at all because they're just so much happier. But as a result of being so much happier in their job, they find that they get to move up the ladder a bit quicker because they're actually enjoying what they're doing and loving what they're doing. So that's a tough one, but I guess you just have to weigh it up, check your budget, see how it would impact your budget, and see if you could swing it really. Um, but yeah, you said Zara, not a purely financial question, but would love to hear your thoughts. But yeah, no, that's my thoughts. Totally depends on the circumstance that you're personally in, um, and yeah, if you're in a circumstance that you feel like you can do it, go for it. Like, life is so short. Not to be morbid here, but uh, really not to be morbid, but recently I've been within like family or friend circles, there have been a lot of deaths of young people in their 20s and their 30s. And it's like a real reminder that as much as we think we're young and invincible, we're not. So there's always a fine line when it comes to finances. And I've always said this on my channel. And I think people sometimes think because I like to talk about personal finance that I don't spend. I spend and I enjoy my life. Um, I also budget and save and invest, but you just cannot put your life on hold just to save every penny, just to invest every penny and be miserable because you just don't know what's around the corner. So yeah, you got to be happy. Um, and Kira, you said I went for a 5-year fixed in September 2020. That's what I should have done. No, I'm joking. It worked out well for us. But the secondary mortgage, I think we should have gone for 3 years instead of 2. So yeah, any thoughts on, for those of you who are on here, any thoughts on today's mini budget? I was a bit I actually didn't get to like watch it live because I had an appointment. But I was just a bit in shock. Like I just was just the things coming out of his mouth. I was like, really? Seriously? Like I think the one that shocked me is, well, the banker's bonus cut we already knew was coming. That was mentioned before. So that one didn't catch me. I mean, it's still ridiculous, but that one didn't catch me so off guard. I was like, I knew that was coming. The Chancellor must have some really good friends who are bankers that are going to pay him a decent amount of money because it's just ludicrous. Um, but the one that really shocked me was the 45% tax band. So, for those of you who don't know, you may know, you may not know. Once you make £150,000, anything you make over £150,000 is taxed at 45%. For me, I think that's reasonable. Like, you're making a good amount of money, like that's fine. That's 45%. Hey ho, you just got to deal with it. Why would he get rid of that completely? So now anyone who makes over £150,000, anything they make over 50,000, like just under 51,000, anything they make over that will be taxed at 40%, which just seems, I just don't know. This is just so wrong. And Kira, you said I was so disappointed, was expecting more. How does the 45% tax cut help anyone apart from the rich? It doesn't. That's the whole point. That is the whole point. And, it doesn't it doesn't shock me in terms of with Liz Truss. I don't know what to make of her. I really don't know what to make of her yet. Can't read her. I just don't know. And but I do know that she really looks up to Margaret Thatcher, and kind of wants to be the Iron Lady 2.0, basically. So, so I was watching like clips back of her in the background, just like obviously just so into the budget, and I just thought she's loving this. Like they've basically done nothing for the poor people in our society, and now they are um, talking about benefits being at risk of being cut or reduced. It's just, I don't see how people are meant to feel at ease. The one thing, and I always believe in, even though I don't really associate with a political party, honestly, I couldn't say I'm for Labour, Liberal Democrats, Conservative. I'm not for a particular party. But one thing I will say is I try to be like impartial to a certain extent, where if someone's doing good things, I'm not just going to jump on the bandwagon of what everyone else is saying. Like, I'm going to recognize what they're doing. So give honor where honor is due. I do appreciate what she's done with the price cap. I think it's going to help a lot of people. I mean, for me, I was like, oh, this is quite good. Like, now the bills for the winter are looking a lot less bleak. However, I know that people are livid about her not doing the windfall tax. So yes, we've got this new price cap, and I hate that they call it that because it's not a cap. Like, it's not capped off at that. Your bill could be way more than 2,500 for the year. But price cap, she's released this new price cap, reduced it. Well, not reduced it because you know what I mean. But she's reduced it to what we thought it was going to be. But it's like, how are we paying for this, Liz? Oh, yeah, that's right. We're just going to keep borrowing. As well as cut all these taxes for the rich people and for your buddies and for your bankers. So I just don't know. Yeah, I don't know. You said I wasn't sure about how helpful the 1.25% increase in national insurance would be. Need to crunch some numbers. Funny you say that, because I looked this up yesterday because I wanted to know how it would impact me personally, and I was going to post about it, and I didn't. And I found an article which gave the exact breakdown of what it would mean for you. So let me try and find that article, because I was like, oh, this is helpful. It tells me exactly what that means and like how much money I would get back in my pocket. Found it. Found it. So, come on, continue reading. Yes, yes, yes. Right. Good stuff here. Right. So, for someone whose salary, obviously in between is in between, but it just gives you in 10,000 increments. So for someone whose salary is £20,000, their current national insurance would be £984 per month. But now, after this reduction, it would go down to £892. So they have a tax saving of £93. That's for the whole year. Okay, so if your salary is £20,000, your tax saving, because of this new national insurance reversal or whatever, the tax saving now is £93. So you get to pocket back £93. For someone whose salary is £30,000, your tax saving is £218 for the year. For someone whose salary is £40,000, the tax saving is £343 per year. If you see the pattern here, for someone whose salary is £50,000, the tax saving is £468 per year. For someone whose salary is £60,000, the tax saving is £593 a year. So if your salary is £70,000, your tax saving is £718 per year. So I'm not done, but basically, the more you earn, the bigger your tax break. And that's just because of how the tax system is set up in this country. If your salary is, I don't think I've done £80,000 yet. If your salary is £80,000, your tax saving is £843. If your salary is £90,000, your tax saving is £968. And if you are on £100,000 a year, you get to pocket an extra £1,093 per year. So the people who are best off in this situation with this national insurance reduction is the rich. Again, like the more you, and I say the rich, the bigger, the larger earners in comparison to the national average. So the more you make, the more you're going to get back. Which, again, so you've got that. So imagine somebody right now who is earning 150, 200,000 pounds a year. This is a brilliant day for them. Like, they are winning. They are actually winning. They've got that lovely national insurance reduction, but then they've also got no longer having to have that 45% additional tax rate. They are just, well, this site has been updated in the background. Okay. They are just winning. So yeah, I can I hope that's been helpful for you to kind of get an idea of roughly, obviously your salary is probably not dead on one of those numbers, but you can kind of work out what it is between those two. So yeah, basically if you make more, your quid's in. But nothing for nothing for everybody else, who's really struggling right now. And even as I said before, people are in jeopardy if they are on benefits. So that is it right now. You said, wonder what percent of the country earns over £100,000 per year. I've looked this up before and I don't remember. So I'm gonna look it up now. Yeah, I mean, this is it. It's not a lot. What percent of UK earn over 100k? Because I remember looking this up. Oh, that doesn't help me. Well, this was 2016. That doesn't help. You would think I've definitely looked this up before. Ah, found one. What happens when your salary goes over 100k? What do you guys think? Like, just curious about your opinions. Do you feel like 100k is like that magic number? Do you think it's gonna change? Like, if you earn 100k right now, do you feel like it's really had a huge impact on your life? Or if you don't earn 100k and do you think it's like that magic number? I'm just curious what you guys think, because my mindset is a little bit different about it, and I just think it's just to do with the fact of me living in the US for so many years, where 100k is a lot, but it's also not that much. But here in the UK, I feel like 100k stretches much further. Where did I? So this article basically says that if you earn over 100,000 or more a year, then you are in the top 2% of UK earners. And this was back in 2021. So 2%. Like, that's crazy. Do you know what I mean? I mean, wow. And these are the people that are benefiting. Less than 2% of the UK earn 100k or more. That's crazy. So yeah, hopefully that's answered your question, Sean. Now we know it's not a high percentage at all. Maybe it's gone up a bit, I don't know. But again, that was just last year, so that wasn't even that long ago. Zara, you said would be interesting to see the demographic distribution too. It would be. It'd be interesting to see that in terms of, I mean, the demographic distribution would be interesting if we're talking geographically in the UK. We know where the big earners are. It's in the south, east, around London, etc. If we're talking about gender, we know which way that's swinging. If we're talking about race, I'm not entirely sure actually with that one. Sometimes I feel like that that's a bit surprising. So yeah, but it would be interesting to see what that looks like. Louise, hi Louise. You said 100k is in my belief wealthy and not normal Joe blogs. Yeah, I agree. I think if you're on 100k, quite you can live very comfortably in the UK. But if you are on 100k in London and that's the only income that you have and you're supporting a family, it's not as much as you think. Which I know that probably sounds a bit controversial, but it's just not, because you're better off having two earners earn 50k because of how the tax works. Like that's the reality of it. 100k is cool. If you're making 100k as a household, that's more helpful than one person in the house making 100k, because you're just going to be taxed like crazy. But yeah, still, it's a nice problem to have. Don't get me wrong, it's a nice problem to have. But yeah, it depends where you are in the UK, and like, do you have any other household income? If you do, then you're laughing. Also, sorry if my acoustics are like really echoey. This is the room that I usually record in. This is my office, but it's actually completely emptied out now. Like, there's a few boxes here and there. So we're changing this office into a baby's nursery. So we haven't really actually started doing all the work that we need to do yet, but we've taken all the stuff out, so it's echoey and it's quite strange for the change in rooms. But yeah, sorry if it's echoey. So there's 8 of you on right now. If you haven't said hi yet, please say hi, and also if you haven't liked it yet, please press like. I think YouTube rewards that. One thing that has been interesting with YouTube is, for those of you that have been around for a while, I from like April this year until pretty much like August this year, my videos like plummeted. So YouTube punished me. They were like, yeah, sorry. So even now I try to get videos out. It doesn't reach as many people or anything like that, because I feel like I'm being punished for taking a break. But I felt so ill for so many months that, I mean, it's life. I'm not going to record a video if I feel sick. You're going to see it all over my face. So, yeah, I was even with this live today. I always find it funny when my mum appears. Hi, mum. Zari said you appeared on my homepage. Oh, is that how you found me on your homepage? It's interesting. What? And out of curiosity, what video appeared on your homepage? Just curious. That's so. I always find it interesting how people like find me and stuff. Like, it's yeah, it's quite interesting. Hi, mum. Nice for you to join. I've already been on here for almost 30 minutes. I was like quite late to the party. I said I would join at 7, but I didn't. Yeah. So, mum, if you haven't liked this video already, please like it. Zara, you said, I think it was either investing or budgeting. That's cool. If it's investing, that is really, 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 really cool, actually, because you're a woman. Yeah, you're a woman. And one of the things that I really wanted was for my channel to reach more women. As much as I love the guys, and the guys have been rolling with me on this channel from the beginning. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. It was like 80 to 90% men when I first started this channel. And I was like, whoa. But they've been great, especially on the YouTube lives. They'd be so chatty and just great people. So appreciate the guys. But I was like, where are the women? Like, women need to be investing too. women need to be on top of their finances as well. And it's not just about, I'm not knocking saving, but it's not just about saving. And that is the content that gets like pushed out to women, like saving and budgeting. That is great. That is fantastic foundations, but we need to like get into the hard food, the meat, the steak, so to speak, and be investing as well, because that is the only way we stay ahead of pesky inflation, even though right now I will probably won't be staying ahead of it, but hopefully at least keeping up pace. That's the only way we build long-term wealth. So I'm glad, I hope, Zara, that it was investing that you saw a video pop up, because that means women are going to be getting this content. And Kira, you said there was a notification on my phone regarding the live. Okay, that's really cool. Yay, that's so cool. Okay, so YouTube is punishing me, but not fully. And thanks, Mom. You said you've already liked the video, so the live. So thanks, appreciate it. And Kira, you said you got me into investing. I was a subscriber, but I never comment. But at least you joined the live. That's so great. Like, wow, that's amazing. I got you into investing, and that's amazing. And yeah, I know a lot of people watch and don't comment and don't feel comfortable commenting. I know a lot of people watch and don't ever subscribe. Actually, that's like 60% of people that watch my channel don't subscribe. So yeah, hopefully people will start subscribing. I've been trying to do a range of content to try and get to reach different people. So, and I will continue to do that, especially once I start my maternity leave. I mean, you know, in my head, I've probably glamorized, or because it's my first child, I don't know what it's going to be like. But in my head, I'm going to have some extra time to record videos. But in reality, I may just be a hot mess and trying to look after our baby. I just don't know. But, you know, we'll wait and see. I'm hoping that during my maternity leave, because I'm going to take a year off, I will really get to focus a bit more on finance D and kind of, yeah, it's like a passion project. So really work on that, but we'll see what happens. Zara, you said, should I keep investing in my stocks and shares ISA during a recession? I can still sort of afford it. Yeah, keep investing. Yes, 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 do. I mean, again, this depends on whether you said you can afford it, so yes. And these are the times, it just feels so contradictory to our human nature. We see the stock markets are low, and automatically we think, oh, let me just pull back in my investing. But actually, the winners are those who pour more into their investing in those times, because, you know, it's been said a million times, but you are getting value stocks at a cheaper price, especially if you're investing in like ETFs and ETFs or index funds, a global ETF or global index fund, and you're getting it at a discounted price. Oh my gosh, keep pouring money in. For us, what's happened is we still invest every single month, but the amount we invest every single month has changed. So sad. But, you know, it's one of those things that I was thinking about in my plan for financial independence video that I did. And one of the things that I tried to make clear in that video is that I'm aware life changes and things will happen. So I have this plan to be financially independent in my mid-40s. Barista Fire, if you don't know what it is, Google it. I've got videos on it, whatever else. That is the plan. But if I have to extend that by 2-3 years, I will extend it by 2-3 years. Like, it is what it is. Do you know what I mean? Zari said, congrats. Thank you so much. The Riots, hey, good to see you. Always, you guys have always supported my channel for so long. I really appreciate it. Have you thought about drawdown strategies when you reach FI? So for those of you who don't know what that means, it just means, so once I've reached financial independence, have I figured out different ways that I would take from my investment pots essentially to live on, like a salary to live on. Yes, I have thought about drawdown strategies, and the best thing that I've considered is, oh my gosh, where did I hear this? I think it was the Meaningful Money podcast, and it was some professor, I think, that was on it, and I cannot remember his name, but he just spoke about how you need to be flexible with everything in life. Really, you need to be flexible. So I will be willing to have years where I take out more because the stock market has been good, and there'll be years where I have to, pare back a little bit because the stock market is not performing as well. Now, in terms of the amount, some people are saying 3% of your investment portfolio is where it should be because it's more conservative and it's more in line with how things are today. Some people are still gung ho on the 4% rule. So, whatever your investment pot is, you could withdraw 4% of that each year, essentially, and that's what you live on. And then some people are a lot more um, bullish, and they're like 5 or 6%. And I just think it depends on so many factors. One of the things for me that, again, I talked about in my plan for financial independence video is the fact that my ISA, or our ISA, because it's my husband and I's ISA. We've both got ISAs, but you know what I mean. Our pot of money within an ISA um, is not the only money that we'll rely on for the rest of our life. So it's basically literally going to bridge the gap between that and then the pensions that we have. So at some point, if for instance, at 45, I am like, okay, cool, peace out work. I'm doing barista now, and I just decided I'm going to work 2 days a week at Starbucks for fun, for my leisure money, and that's what I'm going to do. Cool. All my expenses would be paid from my ISA, so I would take a yearly amount out or whatever else. And then once I reached 58, I think it is now for my age group, maybe 57 or 58, then I would reduce the amount that I'm withdrawing from the ISA drastically, because then I have access to my personal pension. And that pot, from my calculations and the plans, should be rather huge. So I think it, just depends on all of that. That was a long answer. But yeah, I hope that makes sense. Live, create, grow, love. You said nice. Is your maternity leave 1 year? Yes. So, well, I mean, yeah, that's the maximum that I can take from my employer. It's not paid for the full year, so it's like staggered. So standard across the UK is the first 6 weeks you get paid 90% of your salary. And then after the first 6 weeks, it then varies if you're on statutory maternity pay only, or if you have some kind of enhanced maternity pay. So for me personally, at my company, we have an enhanced maternity pay. So after those 6 weeks, the next 20 weeks, I have 50% of my pay plus SMP. So for 26 weeks of my maternity leave, which is I should know how many months that is, but I actually don't. Roughly 6.5 months, my pay is actually more than sufficient. It's after that that it becomes a bit more bleak. So then after those 26 weeks, the next 13 weeks, so just over 3 months, or about 3 months, I will just be on statutory maternity pay, which is like £680 a month or something. So that's where my salary will drastically change. But the thing about this is, for so many people, that is all they have, the statutory maternity pay for the whole time. So I feel fortunate to not have that for the whole time. So yeah, so then that's 3 months of that. So it takes me up to 9.5 months, and then I'll have like 2.5 months of no pay. But The only thing, it'd be 2.5 months of no pay. However, um, you have keep in touch days. So, and I think every company offers this, where you can work 10 days during your maternity leave and get paid in full. So my plan during those months is to just work 10 days and get paid in full for that, but still majority of it will be unpaid. And then at the end of it, on your maternity leave, you accrue all your annual leave. So just because you're on maternity leave doesn't mean you don't get annual leave. So then at the end of it, I added another month, which will be back to full pay, but that will be using my annual leave. And then because of how it falls in my company, January 1st, you get all your annual leave again, and then I will return to work January 2024, and I'll get all my leave again. So it's just worked out pretty nice. But just to get back to you, live create great live. You said it is great that you can take that full year. It is absolutely a blessing and a privilege that I don't take for granted. I totally understand why people take 6 months or take 7 months. I totally understand that. Let's not talk about my poor US friends who take 3 months and then have to go back. I mean, some of them don't even take that. But that's a whole other story. So I feel very fortunate. But it just means having to like budget ahead and really think about and be a bit more careful with money. Like now I'm a bit like, okay, need to calm down a little bit. And also little things like I think the rights, you had asked me this question on one of my videos or something about pension. And actually, one of the things that I've decided that needs to be done is reduce my pension contribution during maternity leave, which I didn't really want to do, but at the same time, it just makes sense. It just to have that extra couple of £100 a month is going to make a difference. So it's just what I've decided. So I'm not stopping it altogether. I currently contribute 10%. I'm reducing it to 6. But my employer, whether I contribute 6% or 10%, they contribute 10%. So I'm still getting a good amount into my pension every month. But we just looked at it and thought, this is somewhere that maybe we could sacrifice a little, especially with the cost of living going up and everything else. You just have to rejig sometimes. But pension is one of those things that I don't really want. You know, I'm always like, make that one of the last resort things if you can to touch. Um, Zari said, is it a bad idea to stick with sustainable emerging market funds? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. All I know is that those funds, especially the emerging market funds, just haven't ever performed well for me. However, as some people have said and mentioned, it's going to take time and you're not going to see it for now. And if you're going in there with the investor approach or mindset, then it shouldn't really matter if you don't see a return in 2-3 years. However, it's very hard when, like in my Vanguard ISA, when I see the return on things like the S&P 500 and then I see the return on the emerging markets, I'm like, this is not adding up. So I don't know. I really just don't know about that. Live Create Grow Love, you said I have to remind myself about the exact thing, getting it at a discount. I don't even remember what I was talking about now because I ramble. And Kira, you said I was going to ask the same question. I invest my twins' child benefit as it was never part of my budget. I think I will continue. Good for you. You got twins. Wow. Ooh, your hands must be full. That's amazing though. Yeah, I mean, that was one of the things that I was looking forward to, I guess, which I'll benefit. But I don't qualify to get it. So, which again, it's not one of those things. It's a nice problem to have, I guess. I always just assumed. I didn't actually know there was like a limit on child benefit. I didn't know. I didn't know. So I won't qualify, but if I did get child benefit, I absolutely would be investing it or saving it for my child's future. 100%. You're so doing the right thing. Your children are going to thank you. Um, Jade, hi Jade. You said when you return to work, will you go back full time? Good question. I don't know yet. I'm leaving that up to closer towards the end of my maternity leave. However, one thing I will say is that I realize that um, it it may not be as bad as I think it is. So I had to take a couple of days like unpaid leave or whatever, and I looked at my pay slip and I was like, that didn't go down by as much as I thought. But that's because anything you make over £50,000 is taxed at 40 plus percent. So part of me, and I know a lot of people do this, like on the Financial Independence Facebook group, a lot of people talk about how they try to get their salaries down. So they either contribute a lot to their pensions, or like they just find ways to try to reduce their salary because of how much tax you pay on anything over 50. So part of me thinks maybe slight part-time wouldn't be a bad thing, cranking up again my pension contributions and trying to get close to that mark again, so that you're not paying such high tax. I don't know. I don't think it's a bad shout going part time, to be honest. Um, you said just curious, how are childcare fees in the UK? In the US, it can cost as much as a mortgage. Yeah, same here. it's it's just as bad. Um, so I did start looking up, and I think it depends again in the UK where you live. But it's if it's full time, you're probably looking at, and there's parents on here who are watching, so you'll be much better placed to answer her question. So, okay, look, in Kiri, you said I was paying 1,500 a month. I'm assuming that's because you have. That's a lot of money. I'm assuming that's because you have twins, and was that full time? And also, if it is because you had twins, did you get a twin discount or like a sibling discount? Just curious. But in the UK, it's just as bad. It's like extortionate. We have like little things to help. I was going to say childcare vouchers, but I don't know if the government did away with childcare vouchers. So someone please correct me on that. I don't know if that's still a thing. But I think you can like basically you can put money into an account or something and the government will top it up. I also know you get like a certain amount of hours free once they reach 3 years old or 4 years old, I believe. Again, these are all things I don't fully know about because I've never had a kid, so I don't know. But yeah, unfortunately, it's pretty crappy everywhere, childcare costs. So again, back to that part-time question, in many ways, for a lot of people, it makes much more sense to go part-time than to work full-time because it's just like you're paying for childcare. And isn't it better potentially to spend a bit more time with your child? It depends on what your goals are in life. Um, you said you definitely. I'm always looking for ways to reduce taxable income. Yeah, and where in the US are you? How does your tax system work in the state that you're in? Um, just curious, because as I said, for us here, anything over 50,000 and some change, you pay 40% tax on. So I'm just curious where you are and how it works. Jade, you said, and you may be eligible for child benefit too. Well, from my understanding on my maternity video that I did, it I could get like national insurance credits or something. So can claim child benefit. So I think if you earn between 50 to 60,000 pounds, you can get you do get child benefit, but it's like tapered down, so you get a bit less. Anything over 60,000 pounds, if you earn over 60,000 pounds, then you have to pay all your child benefit back. But there may be some kind of national insurance. I need to speak to somebody about this because I still don't fully get it. Um, but yeah, maybe I need to call HMRC if they'll answer the phone to see what they say about it. So there may be a national insurance benefit. So in Kiru, you answered my question. So there's 10% discount for siblings plus 20% tax-free discount. Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'm glad there's some kind of discount for siblings. Um, yeah, that's good. And there's 20% tax-free discount. Is that from like the government that you put money into an account and they top it up? And then so from 3 years old, you said they get 30 hours free term time. Yeah, that's pretty good. And then what? They start school at like 5. So yeah, that's not so bad. Yeah, okay. And you said tax-free discount through the government one. Okay, cool. So yeah, we do have things in the UK where okay, it's expensive, but there are ways to also bring it down, which I think is good. Bobby Reds, you said, are you going to set up a junior ISA? What are your plans for that? That's a really interesting question because I've already thought about this. I always thought that I would absolutely set up a junior ISA for my children. But now I feel a bit differently. I will absolutely be saving and investing for any children we have. I'm a bit hesitant now to use a junior ISA just because I don't like the fact that when like that they have full access to their money when they're 18 and it just transfers over to them like fully. I actually don't like that. Not that I expect to raise financially irresponsible children. That's not the plan. However, I just don't think at 18 years old a child needs that kind of money. I still think it should be the parents who have control over that money. So my approach now would be to just within mine or my husband's ISA to have a specific fund that we know is for that child. So like let's say for instance the Life Strategy 100 fund, we know any money that's within that fund is for that child, but then it's always in our control and we know what we're doing. So I think either way it can work. I just don't know if I like the idea of it transferring completely over to them at 18. I just don't know because I just think for me it'd be one of those things when they hit that age, I want to be able to be like, okay, I've got some money set aside for university, or I've got some money set aside for if they want to go traveling, or I've got some money set aside for their future wedding or house deposit, whatever. But then they're not just going to blow it all on their travels because they have access to it. I'll be like, you've got 10,000 for this, you've got 10,000, yeah, that's my answer basically. Anyone use junior ISAs and what do you think? So Blooms County said child fees are quite horrific in the UK. I remember for 1 year when I had my youngest in nursery, an older one in and out of school care, I was basically working for nothing. It was the second. This is what I mean. Yeah, and I hear this a lot. I hear parents say this a lot, how bad and extortionate the fees are, and sometimes a lot of parents are literally working to send their child, like have childcare for their baby. I'm just like, I don't know what's the point or the incentive for that. I'm not sure. So I think people, if you have family that can help look after your child, then you are hugely privileged to have that because that could save a lot of money. But this is where part-time becomes a lot more attractive because I may as well spend time with my child, quality time with my child, instead of paying someone else to do it. Like, I may as well just do it myself. I just don't know. So yeah, I'll see when it gets closer to the time. I'm thinking like mid next year we'll have to really sit and evaluate, like, is this, what is childcare saying? I mean, we've looked up in our area and it's nowhere near like 1,500 a month. But you know, we'll have to sit and think, is this worth it? Do we need to figure out part-time situations, etc., etc.? Um, but yeah, that's basically where we're at with that. So Blooms County said, if your employer has signed up with a childcare voucher scheme, it is well worth using it as well, because you'll save quite a bit. Actually, my employer does have a childcare voucher scheme, and I've not even looked it up again since I've been pregnant. So I need to look that up again. But I know they do have one because I did speak to somebody about that. And yeah, I'm going to make use of any benefits that I possibly can have. So Bobby, you said you agree. When I was 18, I would have blew the money for sure. That's that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm imagining my 18-year-old self, if my mum had said to me, "Hey, oh, by the way, you now have an ISA that's transferred over to you, and there's 40 grand in that," I would have been like, "What? 40 grand? I'll buy myself a new car, stupidly. I'm just gonna blow money on travels and clothes, and you just don't need that kind of responsibility at 18." So, and that was kind of my thinking. I thought back to myself at 18, and I was like, I'm like, I would have been so irresponsible at that age to be having that kind of money. And it's like your parents spend all these years slaving away, working hard, and saving for your future for you to go and blow it. No, not for me. So yeah, yeah, no, that's. I'm glad that you agree. But oh, there's 16 of you on here now. Wow, that kind of crept up. Hey guys, if you haven't said hi yet, please say hi. And if you haven't liked yet, please help me with this wonderful YouTube algorithm that I'm trying to crack again. So yeah, you said, Jade, have you already set a budget line for items you need before the baby arrives? Yes. um, you know I love to budget, Jade. So yes, that has already been added as a budget line. Um, yeah, we've had to, and not just for the items that the baby needs, but also for why am I throwing a blank? They say baby bread, but I don't know if it's real. Oh, not just for the items that the baby needs, but also for, like, we've started working out what needs to be saved for those months where I don't get paid hardly anything and where I don't get paid at all. You know, it's good to plan for those things, especially because my husband is self-employed. So, you know, with if you are a self-employed person, you know you can have a brilliant month and you can have a crappy month. So, sorry, yeah, you can have a brilliant month, you can have a crappy month. So, with that in mind, we're like, okay, let's just plan ahead. So yeah, there's definitely been budget line item for that for everything really. Um, Even once the baby gets here, for nappies and wipes and even baby classes. I've even I've even added that into the budget. You know, there are some free baby classes, but there's also some like ones that you have to pay for. And I'm like, actually, I need to add that in because I know I'm going to want to be doing that, going to baby classes. So that's all in the budget. But I am going to make an actual video because I've been organized recently and I've written down a video schedule from now until the end of the year. So every week I know roughly what video I want to do. look at me, like I'm like a new woman now. Um, and one of the videos that I had put on my schedule is, can't find the schedule now, but it's on here somewhere. One of the videos that I had put was to talk about the cost of a baby on the way and like how much it actually costs. One thing that I've also embraced is the idea of secondhand secondhand items and like, yeah, secondhand items, whether I get it off Facebook Marketplace, whether I get it off a family or friend or whatever else. I'm about that life. And I didn't think I was going to be. I thought, I was like, I want my baby to have everything new. And I really thought about it. And I was like, they don't need everything brand new. So certain things, yes, are non-negotiables. Like like the mattress that the baby sleeps on. I'm sorry, that needs to be brand new. Or, like certain things like that. I'm like, car seats needs to be brand new for safety reasons. But certain things, like we found a beautiful antique chest of drawers with a changing table on top. Like they got a carpenter to put a changing table on top. Facebook Marketplace for £20, guys. So all we had to do is paint it, clean it down, paint it, change the knobs on change the knobs, the handles on the drawers, and voila! Like our baby has a beautiful set of chest of drawers and a changing table for £20. Like all about that. So yeah, I'm gonna do a video on that for sure. Da-da-da-da. Andy, hi Andy, it's been a while. Hi, how are you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for joining. And V Elliot, you said hi. I'm one of the the shy ones. That's all right. Hi Elliot, thank you for joining as well. I've never seen your name before on a live, so I'm assuming you're a new subscriber here. Um, but yeah, I get it. Sometimes we just want to kind of be in the background. I don't really want to flag ourselves. But tell me a little bit about yourself, Elliot, if you want. Which country do you live in? What age group are you in? You don't have to give me any too personal details if you don't want to, but it is sometimes nice to know where people are from and kind of the age range that they're in. And Kira, you said childcare vouchers. The childcare voucher scheme is closed to all new applicants since 2018. See, look at that. Didn't know that. It's now tax-free childcare. Yes, actually, there was an yeah. That rings a bell. I feel like there was an email about that at work, but at the time it was so not relevant to me that I was like, okay, I don't care. But whatever it is, I think my company offers it, or I can access it, or I don't really know. I need to look it up. But this is it. They're always changing things. They're always changing things. It's so hard to keep on top of everything. But yeah. So and you guys actually increased my likes. Thank you so much. So there's been quite a few of you on here. For those of you who've just joined in the past 20-ish minutes, we started off by talking about the budget, the mini budget that was released here in the UK today, what we think about it, what our thoughts are, how we feel. And basically the consensus is that we don't feel that great. So, but yeah, that's how it started. So if you want to watch it back, I will post it to my channel afterwards, I think. But I won't keep it on there for too long because lives just look funny on your channel. Like they just don't. I don't know if I'm going to keep it on there. I may archive it or make it private after a while. So Blooms County, you said with my second, I got right. Oh, this is interesting. I got right into cloth nappies, and it was a total game changer and saved a lot. I bought them all secondhand. Sounds gross, but honestly, it wasn't. And then resold them on afterwards. This is so interesting to me. The things that interest me now. because I had this conversation with somebody and they were like, I think you should give cloth nappies a try. And the thought of it in my head, I'm like, but I did look into it a bit more and research it, and I was like, it's just not as bad as I thought it would be. However, I think I'm going to give it a go. I think I'm going to try, but I'm not going to pressure myself. So if I just feel like I can't get with the program, then yeah, if you just can't get with the program, then I'm gonna just be like, okay, no, I need to, I need to go back to regular nappies. But I am all about. I do like how much more um, economical it is, and also just better for the environment. So I may need to get on board with that. Um, yeah, so that's interesting. You said that. Okay, and Kira, you said it's through the government website, no employee involvement. Okay, great. That's fantastic. So I guess we could all access it now. Um, Paul Wilcox said, hi, I'm here. I've been listening to you and watching the England game. how can you concentrate on my voice and be watching the England game? That would drive me mad. I would have turned me off a long time ago. But I didn't even know England was playing. Are they winning? And then Andy said, not so good about this baby stuff, but I did get my grandson premium bonds for his birthday. What a present. Oh my gosh, that's such a great present. I love that. Blooms County said, sounds totally cool. Give the cloth nappies a go. I think I will, and I'll let you know how it goes. But yeah, I've been on here over an hour. This is what happens. I get on here and then I just kind of like, you guys are so great. Love chatting with you all, and it keeps flowing. So Ahmed, hi, you said love your channel. Thank you. So glad you love it. Lots more to come, and I don't know when I'll do the next live, but I love doing them, so I need to do them again. I just got out of practice, and then I got really nervous about doing it. I was like, oh, should I do it? You know, I've not done it in like 10 months, but I'm so glad that I've done it because you guys are amazing. From those of you who've been here for, next month will be 2 years since I started YouTube. 2 years. So for those of you who've been here from the beginning, to those of you who are newly joining, I love it. Thank you so much. And I really, genuinely hope it's helping you some way, somehow with your finances, whether it's just helping you with your mindset, helping you get organized with budgeting, helping you really think about investing, helping you think that actually pensions are important. Whatever it is, I just hope it's been helpful and will continue to be helpful to you guys. So yeah, if you like this channel, share with a family or friend as well, because they can maybe benefit as well. And if you are just one of those secret people who watches but you haven't subscribed, please subscribe because I'm so close to 4K. So I would love to get to 4,000. So yeah, if you haven't, please do. That'd be great. I'm gonna let you guys enjoy your evening. Thank you so much for joining me. And yeah, thanks for all being so great. Have a good evening, guys, and take care and speak soon.